Welcome to the University of Concordia Irvine side today's CCL matchup between the home team, Orange County Riptide, and the visiting Long Beach Legends. Welcome, my name is Michael Hofling, and we have ourselves a doozy here today. The Riptide, all of a sudden, after winning 10 of their last 11, they have a chance to be the top seed going into the CCL playoffs from July 28th to July 30th, and this just in, actually. So the Santa Barbara Foresters, who are currently first in the Central Division, they won the National Baseball Congress in Wichita last year, and they've decided that they are going to do that again this year. And funny thing, that actually falls on the same dates as the CCL playoffs. They will not be in the CCL playoffs. Instead, they will likely be replaced by second place in the Central Division, and in that case, right now, it would be the Conejo Oaks. But that's another team that the Riptide have been sort of staying toe-to-toe with. They're ahead of them in the standings as of the moment, ahead by a game and a half. So they don't have to worry about them anymore. Now the only team ahead of them as of right now is the Healdsburg Prune Packers. The Healdsburg Prune Packers are, of course, the only team to have absolutely secured a playoff spot in the CCL playoffs. The Riptide only stand a half game back. If they win this game, it's very likely that they will go into a tie. And not sure what the whole tiebreaker is. Of course, first would be head-to-head, but the two teams have not played each other. And it would be in your division. And the Prune Packers seemingly have a tougher division. Of course, the Neptune Beach Pearl currently third in the CCL in the overall standings at 22-10, only a half game behind the Riptide. So you have to imagine that the Riptide probably have a better record against their own division. Of course, the only team they haven't done that spectacular against so far has been the Arroyo Seco Saints, and they have actually beat them in the season series 4-3. The Long Beach Legends, of course, the Academy Barons, they swept. The SoCal Catch, they won all but one game. So that goes to show that they have done fairly well against their division, and with a win today, it's likely that they will go into first place. And, of course, a win today would also secure them a playoff spot, as the Arroyo Seco Saints are currently 4.5 games back, and with 4 games left on the Riptide schedule and 5 games left on the Saints schedule. If the Riptide lose all their games and the Saints win all their games, they would go into a tie, and I'm not sure what would happen then. But Riptide do not have an official spot just yet. So the first man coming up to face the pitcher, Hayden Shenfield, is going to be Daniel Zimmerman. And the first pitch, two-seam fastball that ends up blowing on the outside corner, 0-1. Shenfield is the man on the mound today. Yesterday, Santa Barbara Foresters took on the Riptide. And it was great to see that the Riptide won. That was before I knew of the Foresters situation. And that was actually a huge win because the two teams were competing for first, second, and third in the CCL going into the playoffs. There's a big curveball on the outside corner of land. Zimmerman looks at it, and it's a 1-2-3. Good morning, good night, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Sorry, I lost track of the day. So the first man he faces, Shenfield gets the 3-pitch strikeout. Bat did not even leave his shoulder. That's going to bring up Grant Gamble, the center fielder, up to the plate against Shenfield. Shenfield, of course, the unique pitching technique. There's a slider that ends up across the knees, 0-1. Gamble waits in, digging from the left side. Shenfield deals another slider, a back foot slider that swung right over the top of it by Gamble. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. Shenfield, 5 pitches, 5 strikes thus far. Let's go through the Legends lineup today. First, Zimmerman, of course, followed by Gamble. He's the man at the plate. Then Giovanni Garbella, followed by Trevor Steinman. He's going to be the shortstop, and he's going to be in the 4 spot. There's the first ball delivered by Shenfield. It was a breaking ball, looked like a curveball, that ended up just inside 1-2. In the 5 spot, Jake Sahagian, then Zach Chan, Jake Scott, Joe Capris, and Luke Devaney to round things out. And, of course, on the mound for the Legends is going to be John Cesney. Swung on and missed by Gamble. So we saw a 3-pitch strikeout. There's the 4-pitch strikeout. Only 1 ball thrown in his first 7 pitches. And he starts off this game very strongly with back-to-back punch-outs in the top of the first. Shenfield has not pitched this season against the Legends. However, in his time with the Riptide, he's been pretty successful. Comes into today a 3.47 ERA in his 5 appearances. Started every game he's been in. He's gone against the Saints, the Barons, the Blues, and the Cats twice. His last start was against the Cats. That was his worst start of the year, giving up 6 runs, 4 of them earned in 4 innings. But that was a game where seemingly everything went off the table. Of course, the Riptide ended up winning that game 9-8. Very close game. The 0-1, a slider swung on and missed. He was about a foot away from that one, the end of the bat. 0-2, Garbella having a little bit of trouble seeing Shenfield. Looks like the entire Legends' first 3 hitters have been having a little bit of trouble. That slider's been very effective. Of course, it's the only pitch he's thrown a ball with. The count is 0-2 right now to Garbella. There's the big hammer that ends up outside, 1-2. Funny thing about the lineup today for the Legends, it's actually been assembled by the broadcaster for the team, and that's a good thing. He says he worked with what went well for them on Wednesday against the Ventura Halos. Of course, Legends winning that game 9-4, and in that game Zimmerman and Gamble were the 1-2. So he said he wanted to stick with that. We have the deuce as well. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs against Giovanni Garbella. The 2-2 delivery from Shenfield. Changeup just below the knees, 3-2. It's full. Let's go through the defensive alignment for the Riptide. From left to right, Shaw, Fletcher, and Greenfield. At the hot corner, Logan Polson over at first. Polshin. Shortstop is Paul Gomez, and at second base is Jackson Williams. Behind the plate is Chase Sebi. He'll be in the squad, putting down the signs. And on the mound, of course, Hayden Shenfield. Fouled off the 3-2 pitch. We remain in the full count. This is the first time we've seen Chase Sebi behind the plate at home to start off a game. We've seen him a lot of times coming into games late in the 5th and 6th innings. But it's good to see him back there in the first. There's the breaking ball, ends up just low. A good pitch from Shenfield, but an even better take from Garbella. So he works it from 0-2 to a walk. And that's going to put the first man on in the game. Trevor Steinman, the shortstop, he's going to step up to the plate now after a good at-bat from Garbella. However, Shenfield still looking spectacular. He's gotten ahead of every hitter he's faced, albeit just 3, but he's been throwing strikes early in counts, which is what you want to do. Forces the hitter to get on the tips of their toes and really react to what you're throwing. First pitch to the 4 spot, Steinman. It's a fastball low and away, 1-0. Scouting report on Shenfield. He's not a guy who leads off innings with a lot of walks or hits. He does lead off a lot of innings with strikeouts. In fact, in his 23 in the 3rd innings, he's led off 17 of those with outs. So he doesn't like to lead off the inning with hits or walks. The 1-1, there was a slider that started inside, broke to the inside corner, and it was swung on and missed by Steinman. Counts 1-2. We're in the pitcher's advantage. Another thing about Shenfield, he's also somebody who forces a lot of ground balls. In fact, his ground ball to air out, it says ground out to air out ratio, and that's line outs and fly balls. Here is a fly ball out to right field, giving chase his Greenfield. And about 10 feet off the line, he makes the catch to retire the side. So, no ground balls we saw, and I was just about to talk how Shenfield, somebody who lives low in the zone, gives up a lot of ground balls, but not a lot of fly balls. So no runs on no hits, 1 walk, and 1 man left on. Shenfield very effective through the first inning. We'll see if the Riptide can do a little bit better in the bottom of the first on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the University of Concordia in Irvine. Aaron Greenfield will lead things off against the Legends pitcher John Chesney. Chesney from my hometown, San Jose, and got hometown pride. Appreciate everybody from there, but come on, Riptide. Let's tear a new one. Greenfield, not the typical leadoff hitter for the Riptide. Joey Parente not in the lineup today. But Greenfield has been on a tear as of late. Been very patient at the plate, as opposed to Parente. He swings at the first pitch that he sees, fouls it off pretty much straight back 0-1. John Chesney goes to Azusa Pacific now. He actually went to Mount Pleasant High School, and he was actually a quarterback on the football team as well, so a dual sport athlete. Very successful in both, but decided to go with baseball. Second pitch to Greenfield is low. 1-1 now. But as a senior, Chesney led his high school league in ERA. And you might think, well, that's pretty good. About what would it be, about 0.8, 1, something around there. Way inside on Greenfield, almost hit him 2-1. But Chesney, 0.59. He has 65 strikeouts and 35 2/3. That's great strikeout stuff right there. So the Riptide have to look to be patient, as Greenfield has been doing right here. Swung at the first pitch he saw, but there he's taken 3 straight balls, now finds himself in the hitter's count. That's what Greenfield's done all season. Hasn't been a steady player in the Riptide lineup. Has sort of been on and off with his at-bats. There's a two-seam fastball in the inside corner, 3-2. But he has been so patient. He's been able to get on base, and he's somebody you want up there with the bases loaded. He's definitely somebody who would come to mind, as in if it's a tie game, bases loaded, you want somebody up there who's going to get on base, and that's what Greenfield does. He gets on base there as the fastball was pretty much in the dirt, a 59-foot fastball, then it puts Greenfield on first. Let's go through the rest of this Riptide lineup. Of course, Greenfield was leading off. Now it's Tate Shaw, and in the 3 spots, Dominic Fletcher, that followed by Jake Polshin, Logan Polson, and Mitch Andrews. And 7, 8, 9 will be Paul Gomez, Chase Sebi, and Jackson Williams. And as has been the case all year for the Riptide, this lineup up and down. When people fall down, people step up. That's what the Riptide have done all year long. Mitch Andrews earlier in the year. Seemed like he was really getting his footing after a pretty slow start. And then went 7 games where he had 13 hits. Jackson Williams stepped up after that stretch where Mitch Andrews sort of returned to his early season form. Chase Sebi has really come in and served very well. It's 0-2 right now to Shaw. Paul Gomez has really found his footing the last couple of games, especially with Bo Phillip taking a backseat the past couple of contests. Or in more recent contests, he's taken a seat, trying to keep everybody fresh for the playoffs. The 0-2 is outside with the fastball, 1-2. Standing on first, Aaron Greenfield led off the bottom of the first with a walk. Still a 0-0 ball game. Very quick first inning for Hayden Shenfield for the Riptide. Looking to do the opposite are the Riptide right now. The 1-2, Greenfield takes off. The throw down is just in time. Very close play at second. I actually wasn't sure. Normally I start to give my sway before the call is even made, and I'll change it depending on what the umpire calls. But I was totally unsure there. So Greenfield gets thrown out trying to take second. Very nice effort. Bit of a late jump and a bit of a quick movement there by Chesney on the mound. So that puts nobody on. The 2-2 pitch is a breaking ball that ends up low and inside, 3-2. So 1 out, nobody on. Tate Shaw's worked it from 0-2 to 3-2, just as Giovanni Garbella did back in the top of the first, and he was able to walk. So Shaw looking to do the same thing here, the 3-2. Swung on and missed by Shaw, second out of the inning, first strikeout of the day for Chesney. So Chesney going toe-to-toe with Shenfield, gets the first 2 he faces. Not the same way exactly, but it's been 2 up, 2 down, and it's going to bring up Dominic Fletcher. Dominic Fletcher, very newly clean-shaven. It's good to see him there. He could be at an interview right now. Of course, he's very likely to get drafted over the next couple of years. He's had a spectacular year with the Riptide. All around, arguably the greatest hitter for the Riptide. First pitch that Fletcher sees is a slider, ends up low, 1-0. Fletcher on the year batting .380. Second pitch he sees is fouled straight back. It would look like a changeup perhaps. Fletcher just trying to make contact. Dribbles it straight back. 1-1. Excuse me, I'd like to change my earlier statement. His average is actually .344. Prior to a couple games ago, he was batting .374, and you wouldn't be able to know it, but he's actually dropped his batting average. But Fletcher, of course, that's what you call a Fletcher slump. Not exactly what he's been up to, but still absolutely spectacular. That's why he's an all-star, possibly MVP. Swung on and drilled out into left field. And there's the Fletcher we know and love. A line drive into left field. Good opposite field work there on the 2-1 pitch. It's going to bring up Jake Polshin, and it'll put a man on first. Of course, Fletcher, 7 stolen bases on the year, currently stealing at a 70% clip, a pretty good clip at that. 4th on the team in stolen bases, only behind Parente and Phillip, who are near the top of the CCL in that category. And currently in 3rd is Aaron Greenfield. Jake Polshin playing first today. Settled into that 4 spot, spent a lot of time in the 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 spot throughout the season, but ever since about a month ago, just before the All-Star game, which isn't exactly a month ago, but you understand what I'm saying. About 3 weeks ago, I should say, he settled into that 4 spot. There's a throw on over the second. Fletcher was trying to take second. So this might be the second time that they get somebody stealing, and they will eventually get him stealing after the tag is applied by Steinman, the shortstop for the Legends. So a walk and a base hit, but it's still 3 up, 3 down for the Riptide. We head to the top of the second, still a 0-0 ball game on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. It's going to be 5, 6, 7 coming up to face Hayden Shenfield in the top half of the second inning. A 0-0 ball game. Very unconventional 1-2-3 we saw in the bottom of the first. Leadoff walk to Greenfield, then caught stealing, and then, of course, an out. Strikeout against Shaw, and then a single by Fletcher, another caught stealing. And actually, it looks like the Legends are further along in their lineup. I mentioned that Shenfield had a 1-2-3, but he did not. He actually walked Garbella, who got stranded at first. That's why we have 5, 6, 7. Jake Sahagian is going to be the first man he sees in the second. Here he fouls it straight back, the 1-0. Now it's 1-1. Sahagian, Chan, and Scott. That's right field, third base, and the designated hitter to face Shenfield in this one. Shenfield, of course, out of Grossmont Junior College, where he went 8-0 with 2 saves and a 1.56 ERA. A lot of people aren't sure coming out of high school if people can translate to the next level. Shenfield, look at that 1.56 ERA. You think he translated well? It's like he took 4 years of Spanish with the translation so good. Here's a ground ball, very sharply hit to the shortstop Gomez, who has it. The throw is in time to retire Sahagian. So a nice play by Gomez. Got the go for killer and made the throw in time, 1 away. So now Zach Chan will be the second man up against Hayden Shenfield from the University of Hawaii, one of the later additions to the Legends roster. First time he's going to face Hayden Shenfield. First pitch he sees is that devastating Shenfield slider on the inside corner, sort of backed away from the plate, but it ends up on the inside corner, 0-1. Chan, a righty, facing the righty Shenfield. The 0-1 delivery is low and inside. That looked like a two-seam fastball. 1-1. Chan comes into the day at .235 average with 6 RBIs. No, 4 stolen bases, too. He's got good speed, especially for a third baseman. There was another slider, ends up across the knees, 1-2. Shenfield, 2 strikeouts on the day, looking for his third. A trifecta through the first 6 batters he faces. There's a check swing from Chan. Very close, good forearm strength, holds it up though. Moves the count to 2-2. Only 1 extra base hit for Chan in his 10 games played with the Legends. It was a double. No home runs, no triples. He has power though. He's got a good size and has good gap power as well. Looking to avoid that. Shenfield throws a two-seam fastball on the outside corner and across the knees. That's a strikeout frozen there. Third strikeout of the game for Shenfield. He's working very quickly. So Shenfield now going to face Jake Scott. We've seen a lot of Jake Scott this season. We've seen him play a variety of positions as well. We've seen him at third. We've seen him at second. We've even seen him in the outfield in only the 2 games played between these 2 teams prior to today. Of course, this is a 2-game set. The final 2 games for the Riptide at home. And it's sad to say that I'll be leaving you guys soon, but hey, it's been quite a good season. I can't wait to see how they do in the playoffs should they make it. The 0-1 is a fastball across the knees, 0-2. Scott, a .227 average. Appeared in almost every game for the Legends in CCL play, 24 to be exact. Still only 9 RBIs. He's had a little bit of difficulty at the plate, and he's had a little bit of difficulty finding his power stroke as well. Albeit, he does make very good contact. Hits the baseball pretty hard whenever he does make contact, but he's been a little bit unlucky and has yet to been able to find the gaps. That's a lack of timing. The 1-2 is swung on a miss, a slider that had him on his back foot out in front. So 2 strikeouts again, 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings for Shenfield. This time he does get the 1-2-3 and another quick inning of work. We get to the bottom of the second, still a scoreless ball game on the Orange County Riptide Network. It's going to be Polson, and Andrews coming up. We'll be right back. So Jake Polson will get another try here after Dominic Fletcher got picked off in the bottom of the first. He saw 2 pitches, but then had to head back. This time he gets a fresh count. He'll look to do some damage with it. Look to lead off the inning with a walk or a single, just as they did in the first. They weren't able to score, but of course, you always got to try. And got to score runs. That's the name of the game, right? First pitch was a breaking ball that ends up across the plate, 0-1 to Polshin. Polshin, one of the several Orange County players with an average above 300. Here he swings and misses at a two-seam fastball right over the top of it. It was way inside. In fact, it was probably inside the batter's box, but Polshin waved it. Flies there, 0-2 now. Polshin's found himself in this situation before. He's very good at working his way out of it. 301 average coming into the day. He's went through a little bit of a slump a little bit recently. Yesterday's game against the Foresters, Polshin went 1 for 4 with an RBI, and that RBI would turn out to be vital. 3-2 final. Every run was absolutely important, of the utmost importance. Here's a hard line drive into left field in between the shortstop and third baseman for a base hit. So nice piece of hitting there, two-strike approach. Just went with the pitch, the breaking ball. That was on the inside half of the plate. Just took it with where it was and drilled it into the 56 hole for the second hit of the game for the Riptide. And the second time that they've let off an inning with a runner on. Logan Polshin up to the plate now. Polshin, of course, from the University of Hawaii. Supposed to go to UCLA, but due to some conditions that happened there, ended up at Hawaii. Played very well for them and played a phenomenal first base. And he's been phenomenal for the Riptide as well. Become an everyday player. Swings at the first pitch he sees. It's fouled off to the left side, out of play. Just recently hit his first home run of the year. That was in a very close game against the SoCal Catch. The only game they've lost in their last 11. Tied the game up in the bottom of the 11th. That was a fun game. Unfortunately, it ended with a Riptide loss. If they ended up winning that game, they would have clinched by now. They'd actually be up ahead of the Healdsburg Prune Packers for first place in the CCL overall. But I digress. And this team looking very strong as we head to the latter parts of the season into the CCL playoffs. With the Foresters heading out, a lot of people thought they would be the toughest competition for the Riptide. So a lot of people speculating and saying that the Riptide have a much greater chance of winning the entire tournament at the end of the season. Szczesny threw a changeup there. One and two is the count to Polshin. Man on first is Jake Polshin. Here Polshin takes a slider, a back foot slider. That's a good pitch to throw in two-strike situations, but a nice take by Polshin. Polshin, of course, has had himself a great eye throughout the entire season for the Riptide. Does not like to strike out. Very good at hitting to all fields. Just goes with the pitch. Here he swings and drills it back up the middle, just off of the glove of the shortstop, Steinman. Polshin tries hitting to third in time. Polshin tries hitting to second, and Polshin will be out. A couple of the Riptide players giving a little bit of guff there. You can hear the laugh coming from the dugout. But that does move Polshin over to third. And that's going to be Mitch Andrews, who will be past the baton and will try to drive him home for the first run of the ball game here in the bottom of the second. Second hit of the ball game. Second hit of this inning, I should say. But there is one out. Luke DeVinny, nice job, very aware, covering second base. Saw that Polshin was trying to take and was able to apply the tag. Good piece of hitting as well. With the infield lined up in double play depth, meaning the shortstop and the second baseman lined up closer to second base, he was able to hit it hard enough to get it through that small hole. Andrews, first pitch he sees is low with a fastball, 1-0. Greenfield didn't see play against the Foresters yesterday. In fact, he's only seen play in one game against this team, and it was against the Long Beach Legends, and it was on the 20th of June, almost a month ago today. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI, so he's done pretty well against this squad. And since head coach Tiger Peterson saw that, maybe he's putting him in the lineup today for that reason. Of course, he's playing DH. He's found himself more in the DH spots as of late, as he's picked up his batting average and has really adjusted his swing. He's one of those players you see in the batting cages before and after every game. Doesn't matter if he's in there alone. In fact, I think there's only been one time where I've seen players in the batting cages and Andrews hasn't been one of them. There have been several times where he's been in there alone, just working on his swing, hitting off a tee, or doing something, having somebody pitch to him. Well, I think only one time I've seen a group of Riptide players, and one of them hadn't been Andrews, and I think it was just Hunter Biggie hitting off a tee by himself, just sort of getting his swing down. Shows you how dedicated he is and how much he loves this game, and how much he wants to improve when he's in a slump like he was earlier in the season. 3-1 is the count right now to Andrews. The 3-1 pitch is fouled off into the Riptide dugout, and a nice play by Williams actually saved the lives of a couple Riptide players, and actually, all looking at them, quite impressed right now. So the 3-1 pitch, it looked to be a little bit inside, possibly ball four, but it's a full count now. Andrews had a little bit of trouble in their last home game, making contacts, struck out twice. Looking to avoid that here. Anything will likely score Pulsion. The 3-2. Swung on, fouled off. A nice piece of hitting to stay alive there. Count remains full. We'll do it again. Coming into the day, Andrews just recently moved his average above 300. So it goes to show, earlier in the season he was batting below 100 and has slowly worked his way up. Hasn't been a flashy hitter, a guy who drives in a bunch of runs or hits a bunch of bombs out beyond the yard, but he's been very steadily hitting hard line drives, hitting them sharply like this one to the shortstop Steinman. So Andrews doesn't exactly get a hit there, but he does do his job, mainly driving in Jake Pulsion from third to bring in the first run of the ball game. We're in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-0 lead for the Riptide. So after the RBI ground now, that's going to bring up the 7th spot, Paul Gomez, with no one on and 2 away. 1 run on 3 hits for the Riptide. Legends still without a hit, mainly because Hayden Shenfield has been spectacular on the mound. First pitch he sees is a ball, 1-0. His inning started with a base hit by Jake Pulsion, followed by a base hit by Logan Polson, who unfortunately got thrown out at second, trying to take it after Pulsion went up to third. There's a hard line drive into center field, and Gomez, another player. When players have seemingly gone into a little bit of a funk, somebody steps up, and right now it seems to be Paul Gomez. Gomez now has a 4-game hit streak going, and those hits have come very timely. In fact, against the Foresters yesterday, Gomez had the game-winning RBI for 3 with a walk as well. So he's been very good, very timely. Seems like whenever the Riptide needs something from one of their hitters, Tiger Peterson or Glenn Walker or Marcus Pointer, they seem to go with Paul Gomez because of how he's done as of late. First pitch to the 8th spot. It's Chase Sebi, driven to left center field. Coming in on it is Garbella, and he will make the catch in shallow left. But not before the Riptide scored the first run of the ball game. They're up 1-0 as we head to the top of the third. 4 hits already through 2. Seems like they're seeing the ball well. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're in the top of the third here, a 1-0 ball game. The Riptide got that run off an RBI ground out by Mitch Andrews to drive in Jake Polshin. Seemingly, it seems like the past couple of games, that's how they've scored their first run, pretty much exclusively. Some sort of RBI, either a sacrifice fly, ground out, or base hit by Mitch Andrews to drive in Jake Polshin. First pitch from Shenfield to Capris. Fastball outside corner 0-1. 0-1 is the count right now. Capris behind the plate today for the Long Beach Legends. He drills this one out to right field, giving Chase's Greenfield. He's not going to get there in time. That's going to fall for a base hit. First base hit of the game for the Legends. And with nobody out, something might be cooking here. However, it is the number 9 spot, Luke DeVinny, coming up. DeVinny didn't have quite the game against the Ventura Halos. Actually only intentionally walked. There was actually a funny post on the Legends Twitter page. It was the player of the game in that one. That was Danny Zimmerman, who went 3 for 4 with a homer and 2 RBIs. And there was a picture of him, sort of a player of the game memo after the game, and Luke DeVinny just jumped on his back and got in the picture there. And all Luke DeVinny did was intentionally walk in the 8th, but just wanted to celebrate there. A nice bunt there, or it wasn't a nice bunt, but DeVinny tried to bunt over Capris. Gets fouled off. Sebi was very close to catching that one, went to the left of home plate, threw off his helmet immediately, sort of gave chase, and I think if he dove, he might have had a chance. But of course, still 0-1. DeVinny comes into today. 194 average, no extra base hits with 3 RBIs in his 14 games played. Not a typical player you see in the everyday lineup, but gets the start today. From the right side, he digs in. Polson started to come in at third base there. He was very close to home plate. You could probably see him on the stream. He was about halfway between third base and home, expecting the bunt, and of course DeVinny showed it again, but fouled it off. 0-2 now. In 36 at-bats also. DeVinny has struck out 14 times, so he strikes out nearly 50% of the time. Shenfield, of course, with 4 already in the ball game, looking to get his 5th. And there it is, a swing and a miss by DeVinny right over the top of that slider. 3 pitches, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. And just like a father who caught his grounded son on the playground, he got him swinging. So Capris still at first, now with 1 away for Danny Zimmerman, the first baseman. Zimmerman last time up struck out looking on 3 pitches. The righty Zimmerman takes the first pitch, a fastball down low and away, 1-0. Zimmerman, not your typical leadoff hitter, doesn't quite have the wheels that you would want from that spot, but it seemingly has worked for them. No stolen bases on the year, but batting .222, he's done very well. There's a fair ball down the left field line. That one's going to get to the wall, and it's going to be extra bases. Moving around third, they're going to do it, and it's going to be the throw in time. They're going to tag him at the plate. A great relay from left field from Shaw to Gomez to home plate, and the tag applied by Sebi stops the tying run from coming around. And a little bit of an iffy call there by the third base coach, sending Capris around third. He saw that Shaw already had the ball in left field. It's not the farthest of throws. And of course, Shaw, the best arm, in my opinion, in the outfield for the Riptide. Of course, that's my opinion, and I could be dead wrong. But Shaw showing off his cannon there, and of course, Gomez playing shortstop and third base. Got to have a good arm to play on that side of the infield. Absolute bullets. Here's a chopper up to the second baseman, Williams, who charges, tries to get it to first, and it's not in time. It is in time. Oh, my goodness. What a play from Williams. It looked to me like a gamble beat out the throw, but Williams, the quick release, was able to get there in time. So the Legends threatened to tie, but no runs come across. Very nice defense there from the Riptide, showing off why they're first place in the Southern Division and possibly first place in the CCL after they. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. So Jackson Williams, the 9 spot, will lead things off here, but Jackson Williams not your typical 9 hitter. In fact, he's more of a leadoff guy, and that's why he's in the 9 spot. He's been in the 9 spot pretty much every game since he got to the Riptide. He spent some time at the 8 spot with Paul Gomez hitting behind him at times, but he's sort of cuddled his way into that 9 spot, and he's done it very well. Job of a 9 spot, of course, to get on base and really allow you the top of your lineup to score more runs, and Williams has done that very effectively. First pitch he saw was fouled straight back, 0-1. Williams, 186 average with an on-base percentage of 286. Here he chops this one foul, a very high chopper, but it's to the left of third base, 0-2 now. Williams, of course, teammate of Dominic Fletcher. They're actually roommates, the two of them, arguably best friends. They love to mess with each other during our post-game interviews. It's sort of become a tradition. The very first time we had some of the players mess with us during the post-game interviews was Dominic Fletcher throwing stuff at Jackson and trying to pour an ice cooler over the top of him after one of our games. And since then, every post-game interview we have, something, whether it's popcorn, armbands, athletic tape, something is getting thrown at our player of the game. So the 0-2 pitch, after fouling off the first 0 pitch, he took the second one, and it was a ball low and away, 1-2. The 1-2 delivery. Grounds this one foul just to the left of the third base. 1-2, the count remains. Of course, Williams from Arkansas. The two of them teammates in the Dominic Fletcher and Williams, teammates in the SEC. They know each other very well. From the right side, he fouls it off once again, doing a nice job staying alive. Count remains 1-2. Only one ball, and we're already at the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Done a good job to make contact, just wasting the arm of Chesney. One run on 4 hits for the Riptide, no runs on 2 hits. Both of them coming in the third for the Legends. Here he grounds this one to the third baseman. Chan moves to his left and makes the throw on the first in time to retire Williams 1 away. So top of the lineup coming up now, Aaron Greenfield. Greenfield leading the team in walks. That's what he did his first time up, just walked and probably got thrown out trying to take second. Tied for third on the team in stolen bases with Dominic Fletcher. Couldn't add another one and take sole possession of that. He's a Tar Heel batting from the right side, facing the righty Chesney. First pitch he sees is a breaking ball, ends up down below the knees. Nice stop there by Cappers, who got it out of the dirt. 1-0. For Greenfield's first at bat, I was talking about how he's so patient at the plate, and there he takes a slider that ends up on the inside corner, 1-1. But Greenfield, the very first pitch he saw in his first at bat, he swung at, and that's something that Greenfield doesn't do a lot of the time. He's one of those guys who sort of takes pitches until the pitcher can throw. He can prove he can throw one across the plate. The 1-1 there is down below the knees, 2-1. So Greenfield possibly taking a page out of Parente's playbook, swinging at the first pitch if it's a strike, just trying to get at the pitcher early. 2-1 was across the plate, 2-2 now. Greenfield looking to avoid the second out of the inning. The 2-2. Swung on and grounded, a soft grounder to the shortstop Steinman. On the run, he makes the throw. A nice play there to get the speedy Greenfield and retire the second man. 2 outs. So we've had a ground ball to third and a ground ball to short. Now the 2 spot, Tate Shaw, who struck out his last time up. Looking to avoid the trend. Looking to extend this inning for Dominic Fletcher. That's what you want to do. You always want to try to extend it for your power guys. Just get people on for your home run hitters, which would be Fletcher, Polshin, and Polson. Those are your home run guys, even though Polshin yet to record a dinger on the year. Here Shaw grounds it to the first baseman, but just to the right of the bag. So Shaw getting a little bit lucky there didn't even leave the batter's box, knew that it was either going to be foul or it was going to end up in the glove of Zimmerman. But it's 0-1 now.
It's an 0-1 count. The first offering was a fastball inside on the left-handed hitter.
Shaw digging in from the left side from Texas University. Another one of the SEC guys for the Riptide. They've got a couple of them from Texas Tech, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia. The 0-1. Slider ends up blowing away 1-1.
Where he could play this summer in his summer baseball team. That's normally what people do. Go in and ask their coaches if they have any leads. And Grant Gamble was sitting right there and said, well, I think I'm on a team.
Shaw actually batted in the 2 spot last time these two teams met. When 1 for 4, here he drills it into right field for a base hit, and he does end up extending the inning for Dominic Fletcher. Just out of the reach of the diving Devaney. He's going to put 1 on, 2 gone for Dominic Fletcher. So Dominic Fletcher up to the plate, singled his last time up and then got picked off. That was part of a very unconventional 1-2-3 in the top of the first, or bottom of the first, for Jordan Chesney. A caught stealing and a pickoff were part of the reason he was able to get out of the inning so quick. Fletcher, first pitch he faces. He drills it out to right field, but foul. That was on a line, and it would have been over the fence if he straightened it out a little bit there. With all the talk in the MLB this year about launch angle, a couple players like Yonder Alonso sort of just buying into it more and sort of changing their swing to provide more power. It's nice to see somebody like Fletcher who still keeps balls on the line just looking for base hits, and a lot of those turn into home runs because of his immense power. The 0-1 pitch is down low, 1-1. A little tidbit of news about Fletcher, who, of course, is looking to be drafted in the future. He was rated by the MLB Draft Association. He had the second best arm of all outfielders checked. And that is a phenomenal feat to accomplish. Of course, his batting, not the only thing we love him in Orange County for. He's got a great glove, yet to record an error the entire season he's been with this team, and he's got a couple of outfield assists. That's what you got the number 2 arm for. Shaw, of course, has shown it off a little bit more this year. Haven't really seen a good opportunity for Fletcher to show off the arm. And I just got that news, and I'd like to apologize for saying that Shaw might have the best arm, because I've seen a lot of good stuff from him, but you can't beat a number 2 arm in a draft. You have to show me a lot for me to say that. 1-2 right now is the count to Fletcher. Shaw takes off. Fletcher fouls it off. It's going to remain 1-2, and Shaw will head back to first. A little bit iffy of a call there by Glenn Walker to sort of send Shaw. That would put him in scoring position, but Fletcher, of course, your power hitter, very likely to get one in the gaps or knock it over the fence. You don't want to. You want to keep somebody on you, and you don't want to risk somebody getting thrown out and having Fletcher come up next half inning with nobody on. 1-2, it remains. Fouls it off once again to the right side, over by the Legends dugout. 1-2, it stays.
He was eligible in the 2016 MLB draft. But he elected to.
Fletcher over on the left side of home plate, looking to extend this inning, possibly score some runs. They scored 1 in the bottom of the second, RBI ground out by Mitch Andrews. Shaw takes off once again, and for the 4th straight pitch, Fletcher has fouled it off. Will stay 1-2. Waiting on deck, Jake Pulsion, the only man to come across home plate in this ballgame. Legends got very close in the top half of this inning. Joe Capris led off the top of the 3rd with a single. And then after a double by Danny Zimmerman, tried to take home, but a great relay from Shaw to Gomez to Sebi, and gunned him out with feet to spare. He was out by plenty. Fletcher, still a 1-2 count. Chesney out of the stretch, kicks and fires a fastball just off the black, off the outside of the plate. 2-2, the deuces are wild.
Outside, just a bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Standing on first, Tate Shaw. A 1-out single.
But shows off his speed in center field, and that's what makes him.
He's taken off a couple times there. He bluffs the steal. Fletcher lines it into center field, a base hit. Shaw, good speed. He'll try for third, and he will get in there safely. And it'll be runners at first and third. Fletcher, the ball gets through the infield, and Fletcher, being very aware, standing on first. He will go from first to second. There's going to be 2 on, and both of them in scoring position for Jake Polshin. So on the E4, it's going to be runners at second and third.
He had to back up the throw and right to the left of the diamond from our point of view.
So Jake Polshin, last time up, he singled and would eventually come around to score, as I've mentioned. Another one of those. Fletcher, good speed at second, likely to score 2. And, of course, Shaw would come from third and score.
Scoring position at second and third with Jake Polshin up to the plate.
Defense lined up exactly straight away for Polshin. That's what they should do. Polshin has proven on multiple occasions. Getting it to all fields. He's hitting it down the line and right, down the line and left. He's had good gap power. Yet to hit one over the fence, and I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated about that. But the first pitch he sees here is just outside, 1-0. Polshin spent a lot of the early parts of the season behind the plate. He's nestled in at the hot corner's brother over at first. Done pretty well, committed a couple of errors, but for the most part, he's done a nice job over at first. I remember earlier on in the season, before a game with the Santa Barbara Foresters in Santa Barbara, they were looking for a first baseman, and of course, Polshin had yet to play first base for the team at this point. And they were asking around, asking if anybody could play first base, and they had an abundance of first basemen. They had so many first basemen, it was almost incredible to believe that everybody had played first base at some point in their career. And it's amazing to think that Polshin, being their catcher, being the guy that they were depending on behind the plate for most games going into that one, they decided to go with him over everybody, all the options at first. Decided to go with him, and it just shows how much trust they have with Polshin at the plate and how much they want to keep him in the lineup as often as they can. The 3-1 delivery is fouled off, straight back, a little dribbler, 3-2, the count's full. Of course, they have first base open, so maybe Chesney working around Polshin. But waiting on deck is Logan Polson. Logan Polson isn't a much easier route. He singled his only time up as well.
The Orange County Riptide have been aggressive at the plate so far today.
Polshin awaiting the payoff pitch. Chesney gets the signal from Capris, shakes off a couple times actually. Finally gets something he likes, but Polshin calling time there. Didn't like how long it was waiting. And they'll do it again this time. Likes the first thing he sees, and the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and drilled down the center, but pretty much right at Gamble, who only has to move a couple steps to his right to make the catch for round number 3. So they get 2 in scoring position after 2 2-out singles, but they can't get anybody across. 6 hits through the third, but only 1 run across, a 1-0 ball game. The Riptide lead. We'll be right back with the top of the 4th on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. So Hayden Shenfield returns out there for his 4th inning of work. He's been spectacular thus far. Only 2 hits he allowed in the top of the 3rd, but other than that, he has mowed through this Legends lineup. His longest outing of the year came against, one sec, I just had it, came against the San Luis Obispo Blues, where he went 6 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs. With how he's been doing here, he's been able to limit his pitch count. He might go a little bit longer there. And, of course, the Riptide looking to save their pitchers for the playoffs. And, of course, Shenfield been one of their better pitchers. And, of course, he is a starter, so they might look to rest him. Past couple of games, we've seen a lot of their guys go only 3. In their last home game, they had 3 pitchers go 3 innings. It was Parker Joe Robinson, Jordan Dosey, and Will Tomlinson. They each went 3. But, of course, Hayden Shenfield out there still. The 2-0 delivery is fouled straight back, 2-1. Shenfield has used that slider he has very effectively. In fact, he's thrown that almost more times than his fastball. We've seen pretty much 3 pitches from him exclusively, 2-seamer, slider, and curveball thus far. There we saw some off-speed, drilled out in the left field. Shaw is not going to be able to get there. Sort of read it wrong. Sort of took a couple steps back before realizing that it was coming in. That's what backspin does to you. That's what topspin does to you, excuse me. Topspin makes it look like it's going out a little bit farther and then just drops down a couple feet in front of where you thought it was going to be. So Shaw not able to get to that for the 2nd consecutive inning. The Legends have a man on to lead off the inning. Shenfield looking forward to his 2nd year at Grossmont Junior College unless he gets an offer. There, a bunt shown by the 4-spot Trevor Steinman. Steinman, good speed. And that's what the Legends are known for. And Legends, one of the scrappier teams, excuse me. They are very big into manufacturing runs. I am as well. That's the sort of baseball I like. I like to watch it, just the strategy being involved rather than see the ball, hit the ball, just sort of use that. I like seeing a lot of sacrifices, a lot of taking pitches that you would normally want to hit and runs, just all the strategy. I think that's what determines a good manager. And I'm not saying that Tiger Peterson and Glenn Walker aren't good managers. They're spectacular managers. They're a big reason why the Riptide are first in the Southern Division right now. But I'm saying I love that style of manager. You see Joe Madden, manager for the Chicago Cubs. A lot of people think he's one of the best managers because of his shenanigans that he does. We see a lot of the time that he'll take out a pitcher, put him in right field, and because if you take out a pitcher from the game entirely, he can't come back in and pitch. But what a lot of the time he'll do is he'll take out a pitcher, put him in right or left field, put in somebody to face the next hitter, and then bring that pitcher back in because he likes the matchup that he sees. So he does a lot of that and uses a lot of hidden runs. And his team is not exactly the fastest, but he does steal a lot. And, of course, there's the famous Anthony Rizzo leadoff experiment. Rizzo, one of the most powerful hitters in the game today, not your typical leadoff man. Put him in the first spot in the lineup, and, of course, next 3 days hit 3 leadoff home runs. And that's why Madden has had great success, even before he was with the Cubs. And, of course, the Cubs have one of the largest payrolls in baseball. He had amazing success with the Tampa Bay Rays, leading them to a World Series appearance back in 2009. Of course, losing to the Phillies in that one. Can't remember, actually, if it was 2008 or 2009. No, it was against the Phillies. Phillies actually made the World Series in 2008 and 2009. I think 2009 might have been the Yankees, though. And the Yankees did end up winning that World Series. The 2-1 pitch is fouled off to the left side by Steinman, 2-2 now. Infield starting to move back. Polson has been very close to home plate whenever somebody shows bunt, but now out back to normally where he would be. The 2-2 delivery from Shenfield is lifted out very high into center field. Fletcher can make a tent out there. He's been camping out there for a week before he makes the catch and retires the first man of the inning, 1 away. So now the 5-spot, Jake Sahagian, the right fielder, comes up. 1 man on, it's Giovanni Garbella. Jake Sahagian, last time he came up, led off the top of the second with a ground ball to the shortstop, Paul Gomez. But now the infield lined up in double play depth. And look for another one of those right here. First pitch, a fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Shenfield from the stretch. A slide step, kicks and fires a fastball. Low and outside, 1-1. Sahagian, 323 average coming in today. Couple of extra base hits. Near the top of the team in terms of RBIs. On the Long Beach Legends, he actually has the 5th highest batting average, 3rd highest among qualified batters, only behind Giovanni Garbella and Michael Stefanik. Of course, Garbella, 375 average coming into today. And Sahagian, 1 home run, 6 RBIs. Those 6 RBIs put him at 7th on the team. The 2-2. It's a pickoff attempt there. Garbella gets back in safely. No need to slide. Still 1 away. 1-0 ball game. The Riptide scored back in the bottom of the 2nd. Since then, it's been nothing but zeros. A high, deep fly ball out to right field. Looks like it's hooking foul, and it will end up foul. Greenfield was giving chase, but ended up with his face against the chain link fence out in the right, and it will remain 2-2.
Got too far around on it and put it in foul territory.
So Sahagian, very close to getting his 2nd home run of the year. Would have not quite sure whether it would have been a home run. Very close distance-wise, but of course, not able to straighten it out. The 2-2 delivery from Shenfield. He kicks, he fires, and it's drilled to the first baseman, Polshin. Nice play. Tries to get the lead runner, but it goes off the glove of Gomez. So it would have been a spectacular play. Just ends up as a single, pretty much what it should have been. I was just about to say that Sahagian got robbed of a base hit after the nice dive and stop by Polshin, but instead it's pretty much where we would have been had the dive not occurred at all. Runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 away now. We're going to call that an error by the shortstop Gomez after it went off his glove. You know what they say, if it touches your glove, you should catch it. But it would have been a tough play, had to sort of lean away from second base. Couldn't afford to come off it. Still 1 away, but they are now 2 on for Zach Chan. Chan drills it out into center field. It's jammed a little bit. Fletcher moved to his left a little bit. Great range and was able to get a good read as well. Had plenty of time to make the catch. 2 outs, 2 on. So Jake Scott, the designated hitter, hitting in the 7th spot today. Struck out his last time against Shenfield. Shenfield blistered through the first 3 innings in terms of strikeouts. 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings of work, but here, no strikeouts. Looking to get his 2nd against Scott. First pitch is fouled. A little dribbler, great spin. Ends up foul. And actually a little deformed as well. So Shenfield not liking that ball. He's going to throw it back. Seen a couple of odd plays in Major League Baseball a couple of years ago. I saw something. It was a ground ball that had so much spin. It was just dribbled out in front of home plate, just to the right of home plate. It was in foul territory, but it had so much spin, it started going back into fair territory. And a great play by Yadier Molina, of course, one of the best catchers in the game. Just waited for it to come back into fair territory and just threw it on over to first because the batter wasn't even heading down the line. Just expecting it to stay foul. The 0-1. Fastball, low and outside corner, 0-2. Shenfield looking for his 6th strikeout of the day, 0-2. The runner at 2nd is Garbella. At 1st is Jake Sahagian. The 0-2 delivery. Fouled straight back. There was a fastball in the inside corner, but the target was set up outside, so he missed his spot, but no harm, no foul. Count remains 0-2. Chase Sebi behind the plate. And good job calling this game. A lot of the credit for a pitcher's great performance goes to how the catcher calls the game. I was talking to some of the catchers. I was talking to Ewell and Andrews earlier in the year before Sebi was on the team, and I asked, does Tiger Peterson call your game for you, or do you get to call your pitches? And they told me they call their pitches, and they work a lot with their pitchers before the game and before their starts, even just on random days. They'll talk to each other. Even on off days, they'll text each other and say, hey, how do you feel about this situation? It just goes to show how well a catcher and a pitcher need to know each other. And the Riptide, pitchers and catchers, they know each other very well. 1-2 is the count right now. A nice block by Sebi kept the runners at first and second. First time he's had to really get out of the squat. And the 1-2. Down low, another nice block by Sebi. They're going to try to get him, and they have both runners in the pickle. They're going to try to get Garbella. Right now, Williams has it. Williams will toss it to Gomez, and shortstop Gomez is going to make the tag, and that's going to be the final out. So a nice job by Sebi to keep that ball in front of him and only bounce a couple feet away. Doesn't allow another run to come across, sort of bails Shenfield out. However, we're not sure if he would have gotten that final out either way. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Still a 1-0 lead for the Riptide on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. Polson, Andrews, and Gomez will be the three to face Cesny here in the bottom of the fourth. Cesny returning out there for his fourth inning of work. He's surrendered 6 hits, but has somehow been able to wiggle his way out of danger every inning. Well, to only a 1-0 deficit. First pitch to Polson is way inside. He has to scoot away, but it's 1-0. Polson, the gentle giant, looking to come up big here. He's one of the nicest guys on the team in terms of just sort of getting to know him and sort of talking to him after the game. Not a lot of the guys want to talk to the interviewer and do a post-game interview because it's a long, hard game, and I understand. Sometimes I talk and I'm like, man, I just want to go home, eat some Cocoa Puffs, watch some TV, just enjoy the rest of the day. But Polson, always one of those guys who's very willing and always enjoys the talks we have after the game. There's a ball high and outside, and the 4-pitch walk will put Logan Polson on first, and he sprints on down to first, showing off his good speed. He does have a stolen base on the year, actually, so might be trying to scare Cesny there a little bit. But yeah, he's always a good guy to talk to. Most of these guys are great interviews. I love talking to all of them. They're all great guys. Mitch Andrews will come up with 1 on and nobody out. Andrews does have the only RBI in this game. Jake Polson led off the bottom of the second with a single. Polson singled him over the third, and then Andrews grounded out to bring him home. Andrews looking to do the same thing here, but maybe not find one of those fielders if he can just get one on the ground and find one of the holes. However, Andrews has been able to get a little bit more solid contact, and he's been able to line a couple more out. He's also been a little unlucky as well. He's had a couple bloopers that normally would be base hits, but just a couple feet away from being base hits, they end up being pop-outs. hasn't had a lot of success making contact the past couple of games, looking to avoid the strikeout here. It's 1-1 right now to Andrews. The righty Chesney deals a slider, ends up blowing away 2-1. Neither bullpen going for either team. Seems to be both these teams' innings. Chesney from the stretch fires. Breaking ball inside, 3-1. And that broke a country mile. That one was headed for Andrews' head, and I was about to say look out, everybody, but the breaking ball broke back in, and I guess that's why I'm not playing. I would have ducked away. I would have been on one of those blooper reels you see online. 3-1 is the count right now. Polson takes off, and it's a hard line drive down the left field line, foul by Andrews. Hit the bullpen pole. 3-2 now. Full count to Andrews. Polson was taking off on that one. I would have liked to have seen if he could make it. He had a good jump as well. Reading the pitcher very well. And, of course, Chesney not really paying attention to him over there. So maybe he'll do the same thing here with a 3-2 count, and would be another good time to go. Here's a ground ball to the third baseman, Chan. Olays, and it ends up in the left field on the E5. That's going to put two men on with no one out. So Andrews is on for the first time. Runners at first and second with nobody out for Paul Gomez. Gomez singled back in the bottom of the second. That was right after Andrews grounded out and drove in a run. But now Gomez has a chance to drive in his very own run. Gomez, newest member of the University of Missouri. Just transferred from Cypress Junior College, and the balk is going to be called on Chesney. So now two are going to be on in scoring position. Chesney has made 9 appearances for the Legends over the course of this season. It's amounted to a 4.08 ERA. And before this last game, he actually had an ERA of just under 3. But the last game against the Conejo Oaks went 4 2/3 and gave up 6 earned runs. Gomez lines this one down the left field line. A ground ball just out of the reach of Chan. 2 will score. Gomez is going to try for third. He's rounding second. The throw is in time, but it goes off the glove of Chan. And they will not be able to tag out Gomez, so it's going to be a 2-run triple for Gomez. And still, the bullpen for the Legends not going. Looks like they are putting a lot of trust in their starter to get out of this inning with as minimal damage as possible. Of course, the Riptide, if they can win this game, they will secure a spot in the playoffs. They will have clinched the Southern Division. And tomorrow, they can afford to just sit back and relax. Still looking for that first place in the entire conference. A win here would tie it up. But it's always good to sort of relax the day after you clinch your division. Just give a couple players some opportunities they haven't had for most of the year. The 0-1 pitch was swung on and fouled straight back by Sebi 0-2. Man at third is Paul Gomez. He's 2 for 2 now with a single and a triple. That's quite a slugging percentage. That's quite an OPS, in fact. OPS meaning on-base plus slugging percentage for those of you unfamiliar. The 0-2. Down low. Nice take by Sebi. 1-2. And before Chesney's last outing against the Oaks, that was on the 13th of this month. Pretty much pitched every 6 or 7 days. Pitched 3 straight games against the San Luis Obispo Blues and really got the best of them. 15 innings, only 2 runs. Here's a ground ball to the shortstop, Steinman. This is going to be the first out of the inning, but Gomez will come across. So an RBI ground out by Sebi drives in Gomez. It's now a 4-0 lead for the Riptide. So now the bases are empty for the 9 spot, Jackson Williams. Williams, last time he came up was in the bottom of the 3rd. So he gets to see action for the second time in as many innings. Grounded out to Chan his last time up. First pitch he sees from Chesney. Swung on and missed a big cut. 0-1. Williams digs in the 0-1. Low and inside, 1-1. Infield lined up straight away. Outfield lined up pretty close to the infield. Maybe a couple steps in from where they would normally be, except for the left fielder. Maybe they're expecting that if he does pull, it'll be a little bit farther than usual. But the right fielder right now, Sahagian, actually very close. Only about 30 feet away from the infield. The 2-1 pitch is low and outside. 3-1 now to Williams. Williams just looking to get on base for the top of the lineup. Cesny, nobody on, but still working out of the stretch. Kicks and deals. It's going to be a ground ball foul just to the left of third base, 3-2. Chan not able to pick that one clean up as well. He's had a little bit of trouble over there with a hot corner thus far. He's only made one clean play thus far. 3-2. The payoff pitch from Cesny. Drilled to the left once again. Foul. We'll do it all over again. 3-2, take two. Some news from around the rest of the league. In Alameda the other day, and that's where the Neptune Beach Pearl play, it was a little bit of confusion. There was some questioning and a little bit of, what's the word? Discrepancies between a couple of the scorekeepers, and there was possibly a no-hitter between Chase Gardner and Nolan Bond, the two of them from Yukon and Houston, respectively. The Healdsburg Prune Packers beat the Neptune Beach Pearl 5-0 at home in the second game of a doubleheader, and that was possibly the best pitching performance we'd seen from anybody in the entire league all season. And of course, there hasn't been any no-hitters or perfect games. And that was just, it would have been phenomenal if it was a no-hitter, but of course the league is going through it right now. They're going to decide whether or not it is in fact a no-hitter, and we'll know in a couple of days. And that'd be quite a feat, and that just shows how good the teams in the playoffs are. Here's the line drive out in the right center field by Greenfield, and the center fielder gets there in time. A nice job by Gamble calling off Sahagian to make the catch for the final out. So 3 runs come across. The first 3 batters, they walk, get on via the air, and triple. 4-0, the Riptide lead as we head to the 5th inning on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. So it's going to be the DH and the 7, 8, 9 spots coming up against Hayden Shenfield, Jake Scott, 0 for 1 on the day, struck out his last time. He actually came up in the top of the 4th, but after a double steal failed for the Legends. It wasn't a double steal, more or less just trying to take a base on a wild pitch, but Chase Sebi being very aware, and after they got Giovanni Garbella in a rundown, Jake Scott had to head back. Now with a fresh count, first pitch from Shenfield is fouled off, straight back, 0-1. Scott comes into today, 227 average, 5 doubles. Those are all of his extra base hits. Here he lines it down the right field line, foul. Sort of sliced into foul territory just to the right of Jake Polshin, 0-2 now. So Scott finds himself in an early pitcher's count, looking to get his 6th strikeout of the day as Shenfield. Had 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, none in the fourth. Looking to get back on that punch-out streak. The 0-2. Way inside. Scott backs away. 1-2. Hayden Shenfield. The big stretch. There's a slider, drops below the knees, 2-2. Scott has made appearances in the previous 2 games against the Riptide. Together in those 2 games, he's gone 1 for 4 with a couple of walks. Also has an RBI. And that RBI came in their first game on June 20th. And Scott has worked it from 0-2 to 3-2. Shenfield not looking to allow another leadoff hitter on. The 3-2 delivery. Swung on and fouled off straight back. Full count remains. Tanner Murphy getting that foul ball back behind home plate. Count is still 3-2. Shenfield kicks and fires. A slider inside. That's going to be a 7-pitch walk. Very nice job there by Scott to just take, foul off, and eventually find his way on base. This is the 3rd straight inning that Shenfield has allowed the leadoff man to reach base. I mentioned at the beginning of the game, he's not one of those guys who normally allows that, but Legends being very patient, being able to find their way onto base, on the first base, I should say. Still, only 1 extra base hit against Shenfield thus far. Here's a hard line drive into center field. That's going to be another base hit, and 2 will be on with nobody gone in the top of the 5th. Of course, the Riptide lead 4-0. Shenfield pitching with a healthy-ish lead, but you never want to give any hope to the opposing team. Shenfield looking to shut it down, and all of a sudden the Riptide bullpen is going. Looks like Hunter Biggie is warming up, as well as Kazak Matsu. We'll let you know if anything develops. And now the first baseman, Polshin, he's in on the grass. Logan Polson, who's normally in bunt situations, still waiting back a little bit. Capris shows to bunt, Luke DeVinny to bunt, but fouls it off 0-1. He actually showed the bunt in his first time up twice and fouled him off both times, so he's shown bunt 3 times and fouled it off 3 times. Maybe he's not the guy you want bunting exactly. So Capers was the man who singled. He's standing at first right now. Luke DeVinny looking to possibly drive some runs in and diminish that lead for the Riptide. Shenfield looking to avoid that. DeVinny showing off, bunt once again. And that is a difficult play. Now that was a very nice defensive play by Polshin. So what happened there was the bunt came by DeVinny, sort of bounced in the air. Polshin had a chance to catch it, but let it drop instead, knowing that they would have a chance at the double play. No infield fly called because it wasn't high enough. But Polshin came in, just sort of let it drop, threw it on to third, got the lead runner. But Polshin at third bobbled the throw a little bit there, didn't have time to throw it to second. So they get the lead man. Runners are still at first and second. Now there is 1 away for the top of the lineup, Daniel Zimmerman. First pitch is off speed, just inside, 1-0.
out in the third inning after showing bunt a couple times. Danny Zimmerman is now up at the plate. He takes a slider inside the post.
The 1-0 pitch is inside, another slider, but this time it's down below the knees, 2-0. Zimmerman 1 for 2 on the day. He struck out looking his first time up on 3 pitches. That was good morning, good afternoon, good night. Bat didn't even leave his shoulder. His last time up, he doubled and tried to drive in Joe Capris, but Capris got thrown out at the plate. The 2-0 pitch, a check swing, but it doesn't matter. It's across the knees, 2-1. Zimmerman, not your typical leadoff guy, as I've mentioned, but he did lead off against the Ventura Halos in their last game and had great success, going 3 for 4 with a home run. So he gets that opportunity once again here against the Riptide. Riptide looking for a season sweep against this team. They won their first meeting 8-5, won the second meeting 4-1. Now a 2-game series before the season comes to an end. And possibly a 4-game sweep and really a great season against the Southern Division, which would possibly put them over the edge against the Healdsburg Prune Packers in terms of overall CCL standings. 3-2 is the count right now. After that last pitch was fouled off by Zimmerman right above our heads. The 3-2 is drilled very high out in the center. Moving back and to his right is Fletcher. He will make the catch. Tagging from second is Capris. There's the number 2 arm. It would have been in time, but it would have been a nice pick by Polson. So he's showing off his arm there. Really had a good opportunity. Capris, even for a catcher, has pretty strong legs and has good speed, but Fletcher almost able to get him there. Meanwhile, a very nice awareness there from the runner at first. Luke DeVenny saw that the throw was going to third and decided to take second. So Zimmerman flies out, sacrifices, and moves both the runners over. It's going to be Grant Gamble with an opportunity to drive in 2 and cut that lead in half. There are 2 outs, and they do have first base open, so Shenfield can afford to pitch around. But you don't normally want to pitch around to a 2 spot because then you got the 3 spot up. And the 3 spot, of course, normally regarded as the best overall hitter in the lineup that day for that team. First pitch to Gamble. Swung on and fouled to the right side. 0-1. Gamble from Azusa Pacific, a teammate of the man on the mound, John Cesny. 2 of them spent a couple of games playing with one another. Spent a couple of practices, actually. John Cesny has not actually seen play with Azusa Pacific thus far. And Gamble has. He's seen a couple of at-bats. He's done all right for himself over there. Very close to where we are at the moment. Very good baseball program. I'm sure Gamble will only make that better, but right now he's down 0-2. Shenfield looking to get out of this inning. The 0-2. Up high with the fastball, 1-2.
Grant Gamble so far today is 0 for 2. He struck out in the first inning. That was 1 of 2 strikeouts to start the day for Shenfield.
It was a leadoff walk followed by a single, a weird sacrifice bunt, and a sacrifice fly. That's where we are right now. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Foul once again. Recovered by Polshin. 1-2 is the count. Looking to get out of this inning. He has 2 men on, both of them in scoring position. Shenfield working on a shutout right now, trying to get through his 5th inning of work. 4 2/3 strong. He's worked his way out of trouble in the 3rd and the 4th. Looking to do the same here in the 5th. 4-0 lead for the Riptide. The 1-2. Slider just below the knees. We were waiting to see if there was going to be a late call there from the home plate umpire, but no dice. 2-2 deuces are wild.
The wind today blowing from left to right. Gamble's pull side in right field. 330.
Gamble from the left side digs in. Shenfield fires. The ground ball to the second baseman Williams. The throw is just in time. Gets Gamble by about half a step to retire the side. So they get 2 men in scoring position. Shenfield works his way out of trouble once again. He's like a magician. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 5th on the Orange County Riptide Network. My name is Michael Hofling. We'll be right back. 2, 3, 4 coming up to face a new pitcher for the Long Beach Legends. It's going to be Kyle Alcorn on the mound. The lefty going to face two lefties in a row to lead off the bottom of the fifth, and Tate Shaw and Dominic Fletcher. So Long Beach Legends manager going with the lefty-lefty matchup. Shaw hasn't had a bunch of success today. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. Got all the way to third base back in the bottom of the third. It was a 2-out single followed by another 2-out single by Dominic Fletcher, which gave the Riptide a good opportunity to score a couple more runs. Unfortunately, nothing came out of that. Here's a hard line drive out in the center field. Moving to his left is Gamble, who will make the catch and retire his man for out number 1. So Dominic Fletcher will step up to the plate now. Something Fletcher always does. You see a lot of the time that the Riptide players are pretty much ready to get in the batter's box as soon as the hitter before them gets out or gets on base. But Fletcher always waits and takes 2 more swings after the batter returns to the dugout before returning to home plate. Fletcher, the powerful hitter, first pitch he sees is a fastball across the knees, 0-1. Alcorn coming into today had a 3.64 ERA. That's his brother Jacob, actually, both of them on the Long Beach Legends. Here's a fly ball out to right field. Nice job by Sahagian coming in. He will make the running catch for out number 2. That's right, Kyle and Jacob Alcorn, the two of them on the Long Beach Legends. They are twins. And they've been very good for this Legends team. Both of them sub-4 ERAs. The man on the mound, Kyle Alcorn, 3.09 ERA. He hasn't pitched as many innings as his brother Jacob. He's gone 11 2/3, giving up 4 earned runs. Not exactly your strikeout guy either, only 7 strikeouts in those 11 2/3. But he's worked his way pretty nicely through the 2 of the stronger hitters in the Riptide lineup thus far. First pitch to Pulsion was swung on and fouled. It was 0-1, now 1-1 after that one ends up outside. Jake Pulsion digs in the pitch. Fastball up high, 2-1. Pulsion 1 for 2 with a single and a line out to the center fielder Gamble. That was with Shaw at third and Fletcher at second. And it looked like for a second it might drop in and bring home 2. But Gamble pretty much didn't have to move. Very well struck, but just a little bit unlucky was Pulsion. Here's a high fly ball to left. Moving back on it is Garbella just in front of the warning track. He makes the catch. And Pulsion, still waiting for his first home run, got very close, probably the closest he's gotten all year. We head to the top of the 6th. The Riptide lead 4-0 on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. Making his 7th appearance for the Riptide, a new pitcher is in. It's Hunter Biggie. So after 5 shutout strong innings by Hayden Shenfield, Biggie will be the first man out of the bullpen and will look to keep the shutout going. Riptide lead 4-0 here at the University of Concordia in Irvine, and the first pitch is a fastball across the knees, 0-1. Last time we saw Biggie out on the mound was not too long ago, July 16th against the SoCal Catch. In fact, this is his 7th appearance in league play, and all of those appearances but one, and it was against the SoCal Catch. A little bit ironic there. He's been the first man out of the bullpen, so that's been his role, just coming in sort of after the starter and nailing things down for the later inning pitchers. The 1-1 delivery from Biggie. Fouls it off. 1-2. His only start came against the SoCal Catch. Only went 1 inning. Went 3 up, 3 down, only facing 3 batters. Need 12 pitches to get out of that, though. The 1-2. Breaking ball. Right back to Biggie, gets it on 1 hop and throws on the first in time. Plenty of time to get Garbella for the first out of the inning. Top of the 6th here, of course, the Riptide looking to clinch that playoff spot. Either a win right now or a loss by the Arroyo Seco Saints later today will clinch them the Southern Division. Trevor Steinman up to the plate now, 0 for 2 with a flyout to Greenfield and right and a flyout to Fletcher in center. First pitch he sees is a slider, very hard slider by Biggie, just off the edge of the plate, 1-0. Biggie has seen some time at the plate and pitching to the plate. Here he throws and it's fouled off. 1-1. But earlier in the year, a couple weeks ago, Biggie saw a couple opportunities in a couple consecutive games, coming in, getting some at-bats, and even saw some time out in the field. And then the next couple of games, I saw him fielding with the other position players. There's a hard line drive out to right. That's going to be a single for Steinman. Nice job by Greenfield to cut it off. Doesn't allow it to get to the wall. And it's going to be a 1-out single for his first hit of the ball game. So Jake Sahagian will come on with 1 gone and 1 on. Sahagian, the lefty, 0 for 2, got on via an error by Gomez. Back in the 6th, this one gets away from Sebi all the way back to the backstop, so he'll jump ahead 90 feet and into scoring position. Sebi, one of the most athletic guys behind the plate for the Riptide. Not something we see from him a lot. Normally he's very agile and is able to jump in front of balls, but that one just skipped up above his glove a little bit shorter than he thought it would be. Probably the first time I've seen that happen to him where it gets to the backstop. 1-0 is the count to Sahagian. Biggie out of the stretch, kicks and fires a fastball that's lined right back at him. Had to get away from that. The throw is going to go to second. Fletcher not trying to allow Sahagian to take second there. And it's going to be 4-1 the Riptide lead after an RBI single by Jake Sahagian.
With his rocket of an arm, instead, he just makes the simple throw to the cutoff man. It's an RBI single for Jake Sahagian.
So instead of being runners at first and second with 1 away, it's going to be a run home and a runner on first after the wild pitch and another single. Biggie allows the first run of the game for the Legends. First pitch to the 6th spot, Zach Chan. Slider low and away, 1-0. Infield lined up at double play depth. Jackson Williams playing very close to second base. And the 1-0 delivery. Down low, another slider, 2-0. Biggie's last appearance against the SoCal Catch, where he went an inning, went 3 up, 3 down. Comes into today a 1.86 ERA. Of course, it's going to be inflated after that run. Here's a hard line drive out into left center. Giving chase is Shaw. He will make the nice over-the-shoulder catch. A spectacular play. Fighting the sun a little bit, I assume, as well. Shaw makes the play, gets a little bit of a chat with Dominic Fletcher. 2 of them not close enough to high-five, but I'm sure Fletcher only saying nice things about him there. So he saves another run because the man on first, Jake Sahagian, has pretty good speed. Likely would have been able to score had it gotten through. 2 outs for Jake Scott. First pitch, a fastball across the knees, 0-1. Outfield very speedy today for the Riptide, even without Parente. Not something we see every day. There's another stolen base attempt there by Sahagian. Throws offline, eventually bounces off the helmet of Sahagian. Gets into left field, and he's not even phased. He's going to take third. So a stolen base, and I don't even know what to call that. I don't know how you put off the helmet in your scorebook. But that's what happened. Now there's a runner 90 feet away with 2 outs. Count is 0-2 right now to Jake Scott. Big E just one more strike to get out of this. 4-1 the Riptide lead, and there's a breaking ball, ends up outside. Good take by Scott, 1-2. Runner at third is Jake Sahagian. Riptide lead 4-1. That lone run for the Legends came earlier in this inning. The 1-2. Another breaking ball. Outside again, but a little bit closer. 2-2. Deuces are wild. Scott 0 for 1 with a walk. Got thrown out in that weird double steal back in the top of the 5th. I don't even know what to call that. It was a wild pitch that sort of got away from Sebi. The runners hesitated a little bit, and both of them got caught in no man's land. Both got into pickles. Fouled that last one off. We'll do 2-2, take 2. Waiting on deck, Joe Capris. Should Scott reach? The 2-2. Big E deals, and it's a ground ball to the shortstop, Gomez. A tricky hop, but he has it. Corrals it, and makes the strong throw on to first. A little bit high, but Polshin gathers it and retires his man for the final out. But not before a run comes across for the Long Beach Legends. We head to the bottom half of the 6th, the 4-1 lead for the Riptide on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Logan Bolson is coming up. He's going to face Alcorn. Alcorn returning out there for his second inning of work. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The first pitch, Polson looking a little silly there. Out on his front foot, really got him. Was not expecting breaking ball there, 0-1. Polson did not want to swing at that one, but couldn't hold up. Just sort of went around. The 0-1 is outside, 1-1. Polson, 1 for 1 on the day, singled back in the 2nd and walked in the 4th and would come around to score. Now, of course, the 3-run 4th. Here's a hard, high fly ball out to right center field. Going back is Gamble. That's going to one hop off the wall. Polson will be into second with a stand-up double. And that's the best way you can lead off an inning. All right, maybe not the best way. Of course, the triple and the home run may be a little bit better, but still a pretty spectacular way to lead off an inning. Man in scoring position and nobody out for Mitch Andrews. Andrews. He's 0 for 2. Got on and would score after an error by Chan over at third. Doesn't have an RBI. Drove in the first run of the ball game. Back in the second, ground out to Steinman and drove in Polshin. Here a base hit, likely to score Polshin. First pitch he sees is a fastball across the knees, 0-1. Keep in mind that this game, vital for the Riptide, looking to secure that spot in the playoffs. Also, if you're at the game, you can come and get the foul balls. You get free popsicles, and of course in this heat, popsicles always appreciated. Andrews fouls it straight back, 0-2. I've never had a chance to get any of the foul balls, but I do see them every now and again from my broadcast spot. And in this heat, can't help but think that popsicle would be oh so satisfying. 0-2 is the count right now. The lefty Alcorn toes the rubber and fires. Andrews swings and fouls it off to the right side over by the French Hill Reserve. Count remains 0-2. No outs, a man on second. 4-1 the Riptide lead. It's been a very brisk game. Shenfield went 5 innings, very strong. Hunter Biggie came in, gave up 1 run, but still the Riptide lead. That one's very far outside, 1-2. Nice job by Capris to keep that in front of him. Alcorn gets the sign from Capris. The 1-2. Polson takes off, tries to steal third. The throw is in time. They apply the tag, and Polson tried for his second stolen base of the year. You can tell. They're just sort of messing with it, just sort of having fun. That's exactly what the Riptide have done all year. And at this point in the season, they sort of have a playoff spot locked up for the most part. They're just having fun. Just trying stuff out, seeing what they can do. And you can see Logan Polson got thrown out, but right now in the dugout, he's got the biggest smile of anybody. 1 out, no one on, the 2-2. Swung on and missed, fouled straight back into the glove of Capris. And that's the first strikeout for Alcorn, second out of the inning.
Now has 5 outs, only facing 5 batters in his first 2 innings in relief. He'll face Paul Gomez, who's coming up to the plate.
So Paul Gomez, 2 for 2, only man to not be retired by Legends pitching on the day. Had a single back in the second and a triple in the fourth. That triple scored 2, and he would also score as well. Only 6 batters were seen in that inning. The first 3 all got on via the hit. The first 3 all got on, I should say. Not via the hit. Only hit was actually Gomez, who tripled home 2. An RBI groundout by Sebi brought home Gomez. Fastball on the inside corner from 0-1. We go to 0-2. 2 outs, nobody on. Paul Gomez looking to get on base. There's a slider, ends up blowing away. 1-2. Yesterday's game, Gomez 1 for 3 with a walk. He's got himself a nifty hit streak going. He's one of the utility men that Tiger Peterson and the rest of the Riptide coaching staff have tried to use effectively, get him a lot of playing time, along with Cooper Ewell. Ewell, of course, has spent time at second base, third base, left field, and behind the plate. Gomez has spent time at third, second, and short. There are not a lot of players who can play every infield position. It's good to have multiple ones on your team. Normally, you just rely on one guy to sort of fill in for your everyday starter or move around if need be. The Riptide are lucky enough to have 2 of them. 2 guys that are very serviceable hitters, have actually been successful hitters in the CCL. They've been able to come in whenever they're needed. whenever they need somebody to take a day off or they just want their bat in the lineup, because Gomez and Ewell, of course, both very well this season. There's a ground ball to Chan, who fumbles it once again. Chan has had himself a pretty much nightmarish day over at third. He's now bobbled his 4th ball on the day, 3 via the ground ball and 1 via throw to third. That was back to Gomez. That was Gomez once again. Gomez's triple was a line drive down the left field line. Of course, the throw from left field to third, not a long one. The throw was in time, would have gotten Gomez, but not able to be handled by Chan. And Chan, I'm not sure how much time he has spent at third, but right now, I can assure you this is probably not his best outing over there. So Gomez is on after the error. First pitch to Sebi, high and outside with the fastball 1-0.
Delivers a fastball way up in the zone to chase Sebi, the next batter. Sebi starts off the count. So far,
1-0 is the count to Sebi. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout back in the second. And he also grounded out to Steinman at short. The lefty Alcorn kicks and fires, and it's swung on and missed by Sebi. Sebi, a very hard swing there, a healthy hack, dare I say. Just tried to get out in front of it, and that's not what you want to try to do with a fastball, but it was inside, so maybe just trying to move with it. 1-1.
For the Riptide from Cypress College. Going to be a sophomore next season. 5'10", 180.
And the pitch. Gomez takes off, but it's a ground ball to the second baseman, who was able to corral it. Deveni, a nice play, able to turn his body after trying to head to second to get the runner who's trying to steal. Comes back and makes the play and retires the side for the final out. Still a 4-1 lead for the Riptide. We head to the 7th on the Orange County Riptide Network. Very nice work by Gomez to keep his on-base streak going. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Joe Capris to lead things off in the top of the 7th. He caught a runner stealing in the last half inning, now looking to get on base and possibly put a little pressure on the catcher Chase Sebi right now. Capris 2 for 2. Got thrown out at home. Back in the third, I should say. Here's a shallow fly ball out in the right, and a nice running catch by Greenfield. Calls off Fletcher. Fletcher, of course, the captain of that outfield. He has the right to call people off should he think he can get there. But he saw that Greenfield had the better route, was a little bit closer to it, just sort of allowed him to take control, one away. Luke DeVinny sacrificed a bunt for the first 4 pitches he's seen in his 2 at-bats. The first 2 in each at-bat, he tried to sacrifice a bunt, but all of them were foul. The first 3 were foul, I should say. 4th time, it was popped up to Polshin over at first, and he was able to get the lead runner at third. Here he grounds it to the third baseman, Hunter Biggie, who is over there replacing Polshin. That's Connor Beck, actually, but Hunter Biggie is still out on the mound. I can't see the faces from here, and I saw the 3, and I know that Hunter Biggie has spent a little bit of time over at third. But that was a little bit foolish of me, because I would have known if a new pitcher was out on the mound. It's still Hunter Biggie. So Biggie working quickly through his second inning of work. First pitch seen by Danny Zimmerman is a fastball, 0-1. So Connor Beck, who's making his first appearance in the infield all season, makes a nice play. It was a soft ground ball, but that's what you want to see for the first one. Just is able to corral himself, get the ground ball, and throw on to first. A nice steady throw. It was right to the chest of Polshin. So Logan Polson's day is done after biting off a little bit more than he could chew twice with his speed. It got caught stealing and got caught trying to take second on a single. A slider swung on and missed by Zimmerman. Second strikeout for Zimmerman. And that ends the top of the 7th. Hunter Biggie very quickly gets through 1, 2, 3, and we hit the stretch time, everybody. I'm already doing my yoga. Stay tuned. It's a 4-1 lead for the Riptide on the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll be right back. So Jackson Williams, the 9 spot, will lead things off against Alcor, who returns out there once again. 4-1, the Riptide lead. Let's give you a recap of how we got here. An RBI ground out by Mitch Andrews. Started off the scoring back in the bottom of the 2nd. It was 1-0 at that point. Then in the 4th inning, bottom of the 4th, the Riptide were able to score 3. A walk to Polson, the error by Chan put on Andrews, and a 2-run triple by Paul Gomez. He would eventually come around to score after Chase Sebi grounded out. Williams lines this one into right center field. That one's going to reach the wall. Williams, good speed, very slowly hit, pretty much in between them entirely, and this is going to be a leadoff triple for Jackson Williams, a stand-up triple, plenty of time, perfectly hit, perfectly placed, and they have no one on, and already a runner only 90 feet away from scoring. You could tell right out of the box he was thinking triple. Saw how long it was going to take the right fielder or the center fielder to get to that one. And Glenn Walker didn't even have to give the round second signal. Williams just knew it. Greenfield leadoff man is up now, 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch he sees is outside, 1-0. The lefty, Alcorn, toes the rubber and fires a fastball on the inside corner, 1-1. Out of Hawaii Hilo comes Alcorn. Actually had the red shirt his freshman year. And it wasn't a voluntary red shirt. Had to have some work done on his elbow, which is never what you want to hear when you're a pitcher. My brother had to have some work done on his knee. Not exactly what you want to do. So my brother and Alcorn both sort of getting a little bit duped in their freshman year, and both of them not getting quite the playing time they would have hoped because of their injury. So the two of them both looking to do a little bit more work next year. And Alcorn has healed up nicely, and he's been dealing. Of course, that sub-4 ERA. Greenfield takes the 5th pitch of the at-bat for ball 4. It's going to be runners at first and third, and we'll see if any 31 shenanigans go on. Tate Shaw up to the plate. Coming on with runners on the corners. Shaw 1 for 3 with a strikeout and the flyout. It was actually a very hard hit. Ball out to the center fielder Gamble. Unfortunately for him, it was to lead off the inning. That was a series of hard hit balls by a number of the Riptide players. It was Shaw that led off the 5th with a hard line drive out to Gamble in center. Then Fletcher lined out very hard to right field with Sahagian, and then very hard line drive by Polshin out to left. So very well struck and good wood made by the Riptide, but nothing coming out of it. And there they got Greenfield in the pickle. Throw goes down to second. They can't tag him, and the run's going to come across. So 31 shenanigans do happen. And Williams, very aware, saw the throw was going to second, started heading toward home, actually was inching a little bit closer as he saw that Zimmerman wasn't really paying much attention to him. And there's going to be nobody out, and there's going to be a runner at second. After a run comes across as well. The throw was in time. Greenfield was beaten by about a step and a half. But the throw, not able to be handled by the shortstop Steinman. It's going to be 5-1 now, the Riptide lead. Shaw looking to get another RBI. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball across the knees, 0-2. Shaw, the Texas Longhorn. He's been sort of a role player for the Riptide. He's filled in when needed. Found himself on several starting lineups. He's been one of those first guys off the bench here. He fouls this one straight back into the jungle right above our heads. And there was some branches, some bark that fell down, almost hit me and my fellow broadcasting companion on the noggin. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants concussions this late in the season. Not even us. The 0-2. Shaw takes. It's outside, 1-2. Capris has shown off his blocking capabilities so far in this game. He's had a couple of those. None really in the dirt, but sort of balls that have been far outside. Nothing too inside for the most part. But Capris has been able to move fairly well. Alcorn just checking on Greenfield back there. Not a big lead. One run across after the leadoff triple by Williams. A walk to Greenfield, and then some shenanigans going on allowed Williams to cross. Shaw swings and fouls this one off just to the right of first base. Likely would have been fielded by Zimmerman, so Shaw a little bit lucky perhaps. However, it would have moved over. Greenfield put a runner on third with only one away for Dominic Fletcher. 5-1, the Riptide lead. One, 2 is the count. The lefty Alcorn working in his third inning of work. He replaced John Cesney. Swung on and missed by Shaw. High fastball in on the hands. Looked like Alcorn was just trying to jam him, but ends up coming away with the strikeout. Greenfield will stay on second for Dominic Fletcher. It's a second strikeout against Shaw. And Shaw is actually one of only 3 players to strike out. Now he's done it twice. And the only other players are Mitch Andrews, who struck out back in the, struck out back in the 6th, and Chase Sebi, who struck out in the 2nd to end that inning. Dominic Fletcher, 2 for 3 on the day. Singled in the 1st and 3rd. Last time up, he lined out to Sahagian and right. Lefty-lefty matchup, first pitch. Fastball outside corner 0-1. 0-1 is the count to Fletcher. Fletcher been near the top of the CCL leaderboards in home runs almost since the day he got to the team. Greenfield takes off for third. Gets fouled off to the right side, 0-2. And I've been able to talk with Fletcher. A lot of the times we talk about his power, but we talk about other stuff too. We talk about his friendship with Williams. And we talk about just baseball in general. And we were talking about how the team is looking forward to the playoffs and sort of what they've been doing. And he said, we haven't even thought about the playoffs. And this was about a week ago. We sort of try to take every game to its fullest, sort of pay attention to that and see what we can do with every game. We don't really look forward to the playoffs. He said his reasoning was amazing. He said to me, if we look forward to the playoffs, we're not going to pay attention to these games that are right in front of us. And, of course, with all of us looking forward to the draft, we always got to try our best and we always got to put our best foot forward. That's what he tries to live by every day. Sort of reminded me, he didn't say it, but it sort of reminded me of a quote from Ricky Bobby, of course, one of my favorite movies, which has a phenomenal quote, and a quote that I think, despite it being a comedy, is actually a pretty good quote to live by. And it's, if you ain't first, you're last. Dominic Fletcher always strives for greatness, always strives to be the best, and he has proven to be one of the best, if not the best in the CCL. Here's a ground ball back up the middle. Nice play by Steinman. We'll get the runner at first. Meanwhile, Greenfield, who stole third, or at least took off, rounds third and ends up scoring. So a nice job and a nice piece of base running work by Greenfield. Puts another run across. Now a 6-1 lead for the Riptide. So Jake Polshin will come up with nobody on and 2 away. Polshin looking to extend the inning. Not likely to score more runs as he takes the first pitch, a fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Polshin just above 300 coming into the day. He's 1 for 3, I should say. Singled his first time up, then he flew out to center and lined out to left field. He pops this one up to the right side, over by the Legends bullpen. Look for a second like it might end up in the Legends dugout, but it does not, and a nice play by Zimmerman over at first will retire the side. But 2 runs come across for the Riptide. They extend their lead even further. Now they lead by 5, 6-1 as we head to the top of the 8th on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Stay tuned. New pitcher out there for the Riptide. It's going to be Josh Carpenter. Carpenter is going to face Grain Gamble, Giovanni Garbella, and Trevor Steinman in his first inning of work. Last year, spent his time at Louisiana Tech. 5 appearances, no starts, all of them out of the bullpen. That's been his role for the Riptide. First pitch to Gamble, I should say. It's a fastball across knees, 0-1. Gamble showed bunt there, but pulled it back. Doesn't matter. The lefty Gamble digs in. Carpenter fires. Swung on and missed by Gamble, 0-2. Coming into today, Carpenter, 6.75 ERA. No record, but does have a hold on the year in his 4 innings pitched. He's given up 3 earned runs. The 0-2. Down low with what appeared to be a changeup. 1-2. Good take there by Gamble. Carpenter hasn't had quite the year he was hoping for since he came to the Riptide. Only appeared in 4 games. But something about him that does show signs for improvement is his strikeout rate. Strikes out over 1 person per inning pitched. And there he gets Gamble looking. It's a great pitch. Painted the black there. Just talking about his strikeout capabilities. Gets Gamble there. 1 away. Gamble now struck out twice on in the contest. We're in the top of the 8th here. 6-1, the Riptide lead. First pitch to Garbinell. In there, strike 1. Carpenter, something I always look at when I see a pitcher struggling is I look at their strikeout rate. A lot of the time, pitchers that are doing well but they're just falling a little bit of victim to bad luck or are just not quite there, just need a little extra push. They have a great strikeout percentage. They can make great pitches. They're just having a little bit of trouble getting it past hitters at the moment. And that's what Carpenter has been like for most of the year. And there he gets Garbella looking. We were just talking about Garbella, or I was just looking up Garbella, and Garbella's actually only struck out twice the entire summer. And that's got to be a big confidence booster for Carpenter. Gets him looking there as well. First too many faces, both go down via the strikeout. It's going to be the cleanup man, Trevor Steinman. Steinman 1 for 3, a single back in the 6th. He would come around to score as well. That was the only run of the 6th. First pitch he sees is in tight, 1-0. Steinman came in today, 280 average, swings and misses at that one. 1-1 the count now. 2 home runs on the year, 15 RBIs. Those 15 RBIs lead the team in that category. Also tied for the team lead in the dinger category. Here he lines a ground ball to Paul Gomez. It's short. The strong throw on the first will be in time, and a very quick 1-2-3, arguably the quickest inning we've seen all year, comes off the arm of Josh Carpenter. We head to the bottom of the 8th. The Riptide leads 6-1. They are just 3 outs away from clinching the Southern Division. It'd be their first division win in their time with the CCL. Of course, this is their only 2nd year in the CCL, and that would be huge to show just how great this team has been able to build itself against such tough competition. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. Stay tuned. Connor Beck is going to take his first hacks at the plate, coming up against Alcorn, who returns out there once again. Beck came in and replaced Polson a couple innings ago over at third. Saw him make a nice play, but now taking his first swings. He took the first pitch, actually. It's 1-0. So yet to take his first swing, I should say. 6-1, the Riptide leads, 6 runs on 11 hits. Compare that to the Legends, only 1 run on 6 hits. The name of the game has sort of been stringing those hits together. 6 hits is a pretty decent amount, but they just have not been able to get them together on multiple occasions. A couple of times they've had good opportunities, but Shenfield and Biggie have been able to work out of tough situations. Now the Riptide are looking pretty good. We're in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 is the count right now. Back from the right side, the lefty Alcorn deals. A fastball just off the edge of the outside of the plate. 3-1, we're in the hitter's count. Beck, one of the later additions to the Riptide lineup, swings and misses. It looked like a check swing, in fact. 3-2. I was looking away for a second. I'm pretty sure it was a check swing. Moves the count to full. Beck looking to extend that lead possibly even further. At this point, it is an elephant with only 1 inning left. Rather than walking, he pops this one up high to center field, moving underneath in his gamble. Just a couple steps to his left, he makes the catch for out number 1. So now a pinch hitter coming in. Hunter Biggie coming in to replace the designated hitter Mitch Andrews, and then from the sound of it, it looks like he's going to replace Jake Polshin over at first. And I've talked about Hunter Biggie's ability to play the field and take at-bats. He gets a couple opportunities here against Alcorn. First pitch he sees, he swings and misses. Alcorn blew a fastball right by him, 0-1. Biggie yet to record a hit in this season. He's been at the plate 6 times, walked twice, and here he lines it into center field, a base hit. You can hear the Riptide players in the dugout cheering him on, very appreciative of him, and they're glad he could get that first hit. And he's now 1 for 5 on the year, and he deserves that hit. Showed off his great arm, now showing off his ability to swing the bat. He's going to get pinch run for Kaz, and it's going to be Kaz Akamatsu. Normally a pitcher. He's going to get some time out on the base paths now. So pitcher gets replaced for pitcher at first base. Not something you hear every day. Paul Gomez from the right side. There's 1 out and the man on first. Pickoff attempt. Akamatsu gets back in safely. Looked like he was leaning a little bit there, so Alcorn may be paying attention to that. He is a lefty, so you can sort of look at the runner at first. Maybe seeing that, but Akamatsu very aware of what Alcorn's doing. Another pickoff attempt. Akamatsu takes off towards second. The throw is in time, and the tag is applied by Steinman. They had him by 3 steps, and there's 2 outs now. So Akamatsu comes in, tries to steal the very first pitch, but no pitches are thrown, just 2 pickoffs, and there's 2 away. So it's very typical what just happened, something you hear every day. A pitcher comes in to replace the designated hitter, gets the first on a base hit, gets replaced by a pitcher who then tries to steal second and gets thrown out. That's the classic. Fresh count to Paul Gomez. Fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Gomez, 2 for 3 on the day. He's actually reached base all 3 times. He's come up a single, a triple, and an error by Chan over at the 0-1. Another fastball. This one's across the knees, 0-2. Alcorn, since coming in, has strikeouts. Looking for his third. When Gomez stays alive, fouls it off to the right side. Riptide leads 6-1. They are 3 outs away from clinching a spot in the CCL playoffs. Oh, to the count. The pitch from Alcorn swung on and fouled off to the left side once again. Count remains 0-2. Alcorn seemingly loves to live on the inside part of the plate. He is more of a jam shot kind of guy. Has good breaking material, which is what you want, especially against right-handed hitters when you are a jam sort of pitcher. It's a slider. This one's low in the zone, lifted high into left center field. Coming over and making the catch is Gamble, seemingly in Garbella's territory, but it doesn't matter. That's 3 outs, and we head to the top of the 9th. Riptide very, very close to clinching their first playoff berth in their time with the CCL. We'll be right back on the Orange County Riptide Network. We'll see if they can do it. Stay tuned. Three outs away. Josh Carpenter will return out there looking for his first save of the year for the Riptide. And he's Jake Sahagian, Zach Chan, and Jake Scott away from clinching this Riptide team a playoff berth. So I'd like to make an apology for what I said earlier. Jake Polshin is still at first. Sound like from the announcement that Hunter Biggie was coming in to play first, but rather just came in to replace Mitch Andrews at the designated hitter spot, and then Akamatsu came in to pinch run. Polshin is still over there at first. The off-speed pitch is fouled off to the right side, right in front of the Legends' dugout. 1-1 is the count. Infield lined up pretty straight away. Fletcher to the left of second base, expecting Sahagian to possibly push any contact he makes. Swings and misses at the high heat, 1-2. Sahagian comes into the Sahagian 1 for 3 on the day. Reach base twice, once via an error by Paul Gomez. The 1-2 down low with the fastball, 2-2. Waiting on deck, Zach Chan. Chan 0 for 3. Little bloop shot out toward the shortstop. Barehanded play by Gomez. The throw is in time. Oh my goodness. What a play by Gomez. It was a little blooper. Looked like it was going to be out in center, but hey, optical illusion ends up a little bouncer. Well, just one bounce and had an incredible amount of spin on it. Gomez, not sure where it was going to end up after that first bounce, but had to get it off as quickly as possible. Didn't want to risk diving for it and allowing the first man on. And Gomez just stuck out his bare hand, got it. The quick throw over the first to get the speedy Sahagian. First pitch to Chan was across the knees, 0-1. Wow, what a play by Gomez. I normally love to praise Phillip's ability at short. Phillip has made a number of phenomenal plays. Gomez filling in for him today. Made his own play, showing Phillip, hey, you're not the only one who can play the 6th spot. 0-2 is the count right now to Chan. 2 outs away, 1 strike away from making it 1 out away. That was a little bit confusing. A lot of numbers, but it doesn't matter. 1-2 is the count after that one gets away. Josh Carpenter looking for his 3rd strikeout. Low, 2-2. After today, the Riptide will only have 3 games left. Only 1 game at home. That's going to be tomorrow against this same Legends team. After that, they'll take on the Ventura Halos. Riptide, 4.5 games over the Saints. 4 games left, including this one for the Riptide. 5 games left for the Saints. There's a foul ball to the left of the third base bag. 2-2 it remains. Carpenter struck out the first 2 men he saw. Since then, it's been 2 ground outs to Gomez. Looking for his 3rd strikeout, the trifecta of punch-outs, may I say. But it's lined to the shortstop, Gomez, off of his glove, just off of the webbing. That was very tough. I would have been a scared little girl running away from that one. Gomez took 2 steps to his left, just stuck his glove out right next to his shoulder, and just barely misjudged it. That was struck very hard. I'd love to see the exit velocity on that one, like a rocket off the bat. That's going to put a man on with 1 away for Jake Scott. So Jake Scott, 0 for 2, grounds it to the third baseman, Beck. 5, 4, 3, double play! Riptide have clinched the playoff spot for the first time since their CCL induction. I've been so happy to be your broadcaster this year. Never thought that the Riptide, especially after a 1-4 start, would make it. But the boys, they kept telling me, even through their struggles, they said, we have one of the best teams in the league, and they proved it to everyone. They proved it to the city, to the county of Orange. Orange County. The Riptide have officially clinched the spot in the CCL playoffs. The final score, the Riptide 6, Legends 1. We'll be right back with the post-game interviews on the Orange County Riptide Network. I'm Michael Hofling. Thanks for listening in.